Hi, Algebra. We are going on to lesson 3 where you're going to be balancing mobile puzzles. And as we work through this, just remember that there's different ways that you can show your work and show your thinking. So do what makes sense for you, but make sure you are showing that work. All right, here we go. The first thing we're going to look at is a thinking out loud. This is going to be similar to some of the work that we've done before, but we're just going to hear some of the thinking that might be going on in your head as you work through these problems. So here we go. What number can a bucket represent so that the statement a bucket plus 4 equals 2 buckets plus 1 will be true? Lena says, I never thought of it before, but that statement uses an equal sign even though the two sides don't look the same. Jay says they aren't the same, but they do have the same value. Michael says that's why it says equals, right? Equal sign. So the question is, when do they have the same value? When will it be true? Lena says, let's see what has to be in a bucket for the two amounts to be the same. To find out what one bucket represents, we can remove the matching stuff on both sides until only one bucket is left. Jay says, so we can remove the matching buckets. Then he crosses out the two buckets, one on each side. It's going to be important that whatever you do to one side, we also do to the other. That leaves us with 4 equals a bucket plus 1. And we remove the matching ones. So Lena draws this where she crosses out a 1 on each side. Again, doing the same thing to both sides. Michael says, so a bucket equals 3. That makes sense. If a bucket equals 3, then a bucket plus 4 equals 7. That's one side. And 2 buckets plus 1 equals 7. So they're equal. Let's look up here at the discussing together problem. If a bucket equals 2, would this statement, a bucket plus 4 equal 2 buckets plus 1 be true? Why or why not? So let's see. If we put in 2 for a bucket, I'd have 2 plus 4 on that side, and 2 plus 2 plus 1 on that side. 6 equals 5. That is not true because the sides are not equal. Okay, this part of the thinking out loud continues the conversation that the students were having about the same problem. Jay said, when I did it, I started in a completely different way. I knew that 1 bucket plus 4 is the same number as 2 buckets plus 1. So I pictured them balancing on a mobile. Michael says, oh, and because they're equal, the two sides have to balance. Jay says, yeah, we can imagine the buckets and ones hanging from the strings. Just like before, the bucket holds my original number, but we can't see inside. Anyway, I saw that the top of each side is a bucket and the bottoms both have ones, so the middles have to match up too. So what he's talking about is these match, so this part needs to match. Michael said, I get it. To make it balance, that bucket on the right has to weigh the same as the 3 ones on the left. That's how the chunks of stuff match up. So there's your example about how you can solve these in different ways. So again, as you do these, just show your work. We need to see your thinking on these no matter how you are solving the problems. Okay, we're going to do some of these on this page together, and then you're going to complete the remaining problems on your own. Let's start with number 1. The mobile is balanced, and we know that the green dots equal 1. I'm going to simplify by taking away a bucket on each side. And so I end up seeing that 1 bucket has to be equal to what's left on the right-hand side, which is 5. In number 2, I'm again going to take away something on each side. I'm going to take away a clover on each side to make it more simple. And then I see that a clover equals 2, so I'm just going to write a 2 by each clover. And so I can see that my pentagon has to equal 4 because that's what's left. Looking at number 5 here, this one's a little bit different. They have things written on top of the mobiles here. Remember that a mobile, when it's straight across, it's always balanced. And so if one side is 8, that means the other side here needs to be 8 as well. And if you notice how this second mobile, the right side there is a total of 8, and so each side of this mobile below needs to be 4. So anyway, if the left side is 8, then I know that this hexagon here has to be 8. just like always, there's lots of different ways you could solve this one on number 6. I'm going to start by looking at this side where it says 18, so I know that each side of that second mobile is going to be 9. And I'm told that the leaf is 6. And so for this left-hand side to equal 9, my star has to be 3. And I can double check that over here. If each of those stars is 3, the right side is also 9. Okay, to get you started on number 8, we're told now the total weight of the mobile. So if it's 44, that means each side here is going to be 22, and each side here is going to be 11. You're told that a drop is 2, so see if you can work through it and figure out what your diamond and your heart would be. This time I solved it without doing any simplifying, but you definitely could and maybe should do simplifying. It makes it easier. But I just labeled every drop here as being 2, and then I knew that my diamond had to be 3 to get to 11. And over here, once I knew that my diamonds were 3, I knew my heart had to be 16, so that this side would total 22.